This video is sponsored by Skillshare. Stay tuned to find out more info. There was no other excitement back in the day in the 90s like watching the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers as it originally aired. From the attacks of Tommy's evil Green Ranger, to the arrival of Lord Zedd and the ultimate destruction of the command center, for the time and for the period it was so legendary for every kid out there, and it was on televisions around the country. So when Power Rangers Zeo came along to half reboot the franchise, why does no one talk about its forgotten prologue? Let's talk about it. Yo, what's up everybody, it's Este here and welcome back to another video, and today we'll be talking about the Zeo Serials, the forgotten prologue of Power Rangers Zeo. After 3 years of taking over the television world, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers ended on a down note, with the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers actually being turned into children, not being able to use their powers. The evil space aliens up over there in the moon would celebrate the destruction of the Power Rangers once and for all. Even though they were children, they could still go back. The point was the Power Rangers were gone and they were celebrated. So Zordon went ahead and called the alien Rangers of Aquitar to protect Earth, while our team of Mighty Morphin Rangers tried to solve the situation and make things back to normal. And they would do that by finding bits and pieces of the mighty Zeo crystal. Essentially, Mighty Morphin Alien Rangers was that connection between MMPR and the next series, Power Rangers Zeo. Now, if you were a kid back in the 90s watching Mighty Morphin Power Rangers as it actually aired, you may remember a segment before every episode of Power Rangers called Today in Power Rangers, which was a 30-second teaser included at the start of every episode, which would essentially be an overview of the episode the viewer is about to watch. Or sometimes it's a recap on what happened previously in a different episode. Those would usually be called Previously on Power Rangers. That makes sense. However, some of you may not know what I'm talking about, as these little segments in the Power Ranger episodes were removed from international broadcast, home video releases, and even on streaming, because why need a little segment saying today on Power Rangers when the episode's about to start? It's right there. If you think about it, these are just basically advertisements about the show before the show even started. It's not like a promo in the commercial break prior. It's literally the show is starting and it's like, okay, here's what's gonna happen in today's episode. Not like, don't leave it up for a mystery. Here's literally what's gonna happen. I don't know, maybe that's just a thing of the time, maybe that's just a thing of the period, the 90s. I just think that's weird. Anyways, forgetting that, during season 3 reruns of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, that Today on Power Rangers segment was removed and replaced with something new, a sneak peek. These little 30-second segments before every episode of Power Rangers would be called the Zeo Serials. These played during the months leading to the premiere of Power Rangers Zeo on April 20th, 1996. And the first episode in which one of these sneak peeks aired was With a Friend in Need Part 3, the end of the first three-parter being the crossover with The Masked Rider. You know, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, it's a long season, so not every episode kind of had like a serial in a way. So instead, they showed like, hey, continue watching Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, continue watching these reruns, and you will get a little sneak peek of what's to come in the next series. Hey, real quick, if you're enjoying this video so far, give this a big ol' like, because 1,500 likes and I'll talk more about Power Rangers Zeo. It was kind of like a half reboot, so imagine a whole Power Rangers Zeo review. Let me know in the comments if you want that. So you had these little segments play without every rerun of each episode of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, as well as reruns of Mighty Morphin Alien Rangers, and when you combine those together, you make a near 20-minute mini episode of Power Rangers, just without any Power Rangers. It's pretty hard to find these little segments today. Luckily, we can see them on YouTube actually, and they were also on the Power Rangers Seasons 4 to 7 DVD set. But all this was pretty recently. For a good chunk of time, you just couldn't see these segments unless you watched them as they were airing. But before checking out these Zeo serials, a quick word from our sponsor. Like a Power Rangers season, at the start of every year, we look to see the start of something new. And if you want to invest in yourself as well as your personal growth, I recommend checking out Skillshare. Because I know someone out there watching this video has a specific skill that they want to learn this year. Every year is basically a new opportunity, and Skillshare is the perfect place to do that. From graphic design to photography and even illustration, you can find a class that matches your goals and aspirations. And personally, I like leveling up my interest. I like leveling up my skills so I can become better mentally. And with Skillshare's new ad-free premium classes added every single week, there is always something new to learn. And in the times we're living at right now, we really need to center our minds and focus and concentrate if you want to manifest anything into realization. This can go into hobbies, into your arts and crafts, literally anything you do in life. And for that, we have the class recommendation of the month. That being the ultimate self-care playbook, Discover and Nurture Your Centered Self with Jonathan Van Ness. And in this nearly 90-minute class, Jonathan teaches you how to have a better relationship with yourself, of all people. You'll learn how to make a day planner, find your true desires, and build a sustainable self-care routine. Now, I recommend this class personally because every day starts with you and how you feel. And if you can get yourself centered right here in your head and your feelings, you can go on and conquer the world. Just not in an evil emperor kind of way. You'll do some crafts, you'll do some journaling, and even some yoga, some meditation. So definitely, if you're looking for a fun time, go check out this class. The first 1,000 eSquad members that click the first link in the description down below, right below that like button, will get a free month trial to Skillshare to tap into that whole new library of information. So go ahead, start that new side hustle, and take advantage today of Skillshare. Back to the video. Alright, let's go ahead and read up on what happened in these serials. And by the way, quick comment question of the day: who is your favorite Mighty Morphin Power Rangers character? And don't say Tommy. Let me know in the comments down below. Now, the Zeo serial starts very unlike Power Rangers in a way. We're following a very mysterious man as he heads into an observatory. This is Dr. Jewel with his briefcase and all, and another scientist is there waiting for him. Up on the moon, Lord Zedd and Rita Repulsa celebrate their victory against the Power Rangers. However, Rita looks through her telescope and sees something that worries her. Lord Zedd asks what happened, and Finster comes in ready to celebrate. But Rita is not ready after what she saw. But Lord Zedd wants to know what Rita saw, so using his weird eyes that can just like telescope in somewhere, he basically sees King Mondo and the Machine Empire. He's like, Mondo, no! What was that? That wasn't even a good Lord Zedd. I'm sorry, guys. Rita tells Finster to pack his bags, and Finster's like, hey, should we cancel the cable? Should I cancel the cable? Should you cancel the cable? What do you think the evil villains are watching in space? HGTV? The Food Network? The Disney Channel?
Heyo, I'm Jake Paul from Bizarre Vark, and you're watching Disney Channel.
Nah. Do you think they watch The Impractical Jokers? Back on Earth, Dr. Kender and Dr. Jewel discuss the disturbances approaching the Earth atmosphere, with some thinking it's a meteor, while Dr. Jewel's thinking otherwise. Kender asks about that mysterious briefcase, which actually includes a top secret picture of a Machine Empire ship. Which I don't know why it's so top secret when we see Rita and Zedd fighting the Rangers every day, but hey, good on you, scientists. You sure kept it a secret. Dr. Jewel said it should only be a worry if there are more ships out there. And guess what the next shot was? More ships. In Angel Grove, a news reporter talks about how quiet the city is, especially with the disappearance of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. And during that broadcast was when a janitor over at the observatory saw one of the ships in the sky and called in the news network. The janitor named Joseph Saunders describes the ship, while reporter Wolfgang Blizzard, that sounds like a villain name. Why name your kid Wolfgang? Why is your last name Blizzard? I got questions. I'm sorry, let's get back to this. Wolfgang is asking who can verify this event, while pointing out the two scientists who try to flee and escape the truth. You can't escape the truth. The media is watching. However, we head over down to the Angel Grove Youth Center, where we finally see some familiar faces. Because over there, Bulk and Skull are overhearing the news broadcast, and Bulk and Skull want to find the ship and bring an alien to the police station to prove their worth to Lieutenant Stone. Stone, of course, overhears them and brings them to a field to look for aliens, but in Bulk and Skull fashion, they fall asleep. And guess what? A ship goes right past them. King Mondo is looking down at the duo right now and saying, yo, if these guys are the humans that we're gonna go against, this planet's gonna be so easy to take over. And you know what? It's kind of true. Back to the news broadcast, Wolfgang Blizzard asks Dr. Kender if the aliens might be peaceful, but Kender says it's too soon to know their intentions. The broadcast ends with Blizzard declaring the Power Rangers to be missing, while an alien force is arriving on Earth very shortly. And Bulk and Skull, they're always missing the action for some reason, but they actually get into some action right now because they wake up and finally saw some aliens. They saw some cogs over there on the ground just moving around like they were moving around very sporadically. They hunt for Dr. Stone, who's conveniently right next to the duo, and Lieutenant Stone sees it for himself, those cogs, and they flee as well. They arrive back at the youth center and tell Ernie what they saw, with him being in disbelief. Why is Ernie in disbelief, by the way? If these 3 years have proved anything to you, there's aliens, there's monsters, there's robots, there's dinosaurs. Like, what's going on, Ernie? Think, my brother. Ernie says he will wait until the government confirms this to believe anything. And like clockwork, the governor gets on television to issue a state of emergency and states NASA confirms the armada of hostile alien ships, while also stating their efforts to contact the Power Rangers to be unsuccessful. Now, why is the governor putting a state of emergency right now? Should the city of Angel Grove always be in a state of emergency? Because, you know, there's always monsters there, the Power Rangers are gone. I don't know, think about it. Ernie as well as Bulk and Skull are in shock while the governor issues a plea saying that they need help of the Power Rangers. Mondo views their plea and himself and Machina express their confidence in their evil plan, saying how the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, whoever they are, funny, won't be able to stop them. Mondo and the Queen watch as the Quadra Fighters finish their scouting on Earth, saying it won't be long. And this is where we start wrapping things up, because back at the youth center, they're over there, Bulk and Skull and Lieutenant Stone getting some emergency supplies, with Lieutenant Stone saying how he saw the threat with his own eyes and hopes for the return of the Power Rangers. And back on the moon, Finster tells Lord Zedd and Rita how Mondo will be too strong for them, and that they should evacuate their lair. Zedd is also mad because, you know, he was about to take over the planet, and then the enemy ships is here. Lord Zedd's like, can't have anything in Detroit. Mondo and the Queen witness Lord Zedd and Rita and are shocked themselves, thinking they retired eons ago, and saying they won't show mercy on their only obstacle against their mischievous plan. And that, my friends, is the Zeo Serials. If this is your first time watching, be sure to subscribe and ring the notification bell to join the E-Squad today. We're over 70,000 strong. I talk about Power Rangers all the time, and I would love for you to join my little Zeo money adventure. At the end of each one of these segments, there is this little tinier segment of the logo of Power Rangers Zeo being formed. And by the 30th segment or so, the logo is complete. Power Rangers Zeo! And despite this prologue existing and being forgotten, a lot of people in the fandom ask if this is canon or not, as the events between A Hog Day Afternoon, the finale of Alien Rangers, to the first episode of Zeo, A Zeo Beginning, happen instantly, and the stuff in the Zeo serials happen over a span of time that doesn't happen in the actual show, especially the Machine Empire. Like, Rita noticed them immediately after the destruction, quote-unquote, on the Power Rangers, and Bulk and Skull, when they find about the Machine Empire, they get scared, but there's no recognition that, you know, they had an encounter of them with the cogs on the ground and the Quadra Fighters. But putting that aside, though, it was a tease, per se, a little sneak peek of what's to come with the Power Ranger franchise. This was one of the biggest changes Power Rangers had at the moment. With new villains as well as new suits and Zords on the way, this was a nice introduction, and filled that few month gap we had between seasons. And those initial shots were so mysterious, like, you know, it was a guy mysterious in an observatory with the briefcase. What's in the briefcase? This was so unlike Power Rangers. And even the way it was shot at times just felt weird and creepy and ugh. If I was a kid watching this, I would have been so hyped for Zeo just by how these shorts were shot alone. There you go. Bulk and Skull has a really good, interesting story here. All the supporting cast is doing an amazing job filling in that role where the Power Rangers are gone out of the city. This is really cool because some people think Power Rangers are aliens and think they return to their home planet. And you see the reality of stuff happening in the state, and especially in Angel Grove, where the governor coming on the air and television and being like, yo, Power Rangers, please come back. We need ya. If anything, the Zeo serials were definitely something, and the start of something new, something stronger than before. Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter, @DonFuego. I'm also on Instagram, @DonFuego. Have a good morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you're at. And of course, and as always, stay awesome, everybody. It's coming. So make 2022, I don't know,